The Diamond Sutra. Chapter 17. At that time, the Venerable Subhuti then asked the Buddha, "World-honored one, may I ask you a question again? If any decent man or woman wants to develop the highest, most fulfilled and awakened mind, if they wish to attain the highest perfect wisdom, what should they do to help quiet their drifting minds and master their thinking?" The Buddha replied, "Subhuti, any decent man or woman who wants to give rise to the highest, most fulfilled and awakened mind must create this resolved attitude of mind. I must help to lead all beings to the shore of awakening. But after these beings have become liberated, in truth, I know that not even a single being has been liberated. Why is this so? If a disciple cherishes the idea of a self, a person, a living being, or a universal self, then that person is not an authentic disciple. It is just the same when a disciple speaks of liberating numberless sentient beings. If they have in mind any arbitrary conception of sentient beings or of definite numbers, then they are unworthy of being called a disciple. Subhuti, only a disciple who is wholly devoid of any conception of separate selfhood is worthy of being called a disciple." Chapter 18. The Buddha then asks Subhuti, "What do you think? Does the Buddha have human eyes?" Subhuti replied, "Yes, he has human eyes." "Does he have the eyes of enlightenment?" Of course, the Buddha has the eyes of enlightenment. Otherwise, he would not be the Buddha. Does the Buddha have the eyes of transcendent intelligence? Yes, the Buddha has the eyes of transcendent intelligence. Does the Buddha have the eyes of spiritual intuition? Yes, Lord, the Buddha has the eyes of spiritual intuition. Does the Buddha have the eyes of love and compassion for all sentient beings? Subhuti agreed and said, "Lord, you love all sentient life." "What do you think, Subhuti? When I refer to the grains of sand in the river Ganges, did I assert that they were truly grains of sand?" "No, blessed Lord. You only spoke of them as grains of sand." Subhuti, if there were as many Ganges rivers as there are grains of sand in the river Ganges, And if there were as many Buddha lands as there are grains of sand in all those innumerable rivers, would these Buddha lands be considered numerous? Very numerous indeed, Lord Buddha. Subhuti, I know the mind of every sentient being in all the host of universes, regardless of any modes of thought, conceptions, or tendencies. For all modes, conceptions, and tendencies of thought are not mind. And yet they are called mind. Why? It is impossible to retain a past thought, to seize a future thought, and even to hold onto a present thought. Chapter 19. The Buddha continued, What do you think, Subhuti? If a follower were to give away enough treasures to fill 3,000 universes, would a great blessing and merit incur to him or her? Subhuti replied, Honored one, such a follower would acquire considerable blessings and merit. The Lord Buddha said, Subhuti, if such a blessing had any substantiality, if it were anything other than a figure of speech, the most honored one would not have used the words blessings and merit. Chapter 20. Subhuti, what do you think? Should one look for Buddha in his perfect physical body? No, perfectly enlightened one. One should not look for Buddha in his perfect physical body. Why? The Buddha has said that the perfect physical body is not the perfect physical body. Therefore, it is called the perfect physical body. Subhuti, what do you think? Should one look for Buddha in all his perfect appearances? No, most honored one. One should not look for Buddha in all his perfect appearances. Why? The Buddha has said perfect appearances are not perfect appearances. Therefore, they are called perfect appearances. Chapter 21. Subhuti, do not maintain that the Buddha has this thought. I have spoken spiritual truths. Do not think that way. Why? If someone says the Buddha has spoken spiritual truths, he slanders the Buddha due to his inability to understand what the Buddha teaches. Subhuti, as to speaking truth, no truth can be spoken. Therefore, it is called speaking truth. At that time, Subhuti, the wise elder, addressed the Buddha. Most honored one, will there be living beings in the future who believe in this sutra when they hear it? The Buddha said, "The living beings to whom you refer are neither living beings nor not living beings." Why? Subhuti, all the different kinds of living beings the Buddha speaks of are not living beings, but they are referred to as living beings. Chapter 22. Subhuti again asked, "Blessed Lord, when you attained complete enlightenment, did you feel in your mind that nothing had been acquired?" The Buddha replied, "That is it exactly, Subhuti. When I attained total enlightenment, I did not feel, as the mind feels, any arbitrary conception of spiritual truth, not even the slightest. Even the words total enlightenment are merely words. They are used merely as a figure of speech." Chapter 23. Furthermore, Subhuti, what I have attained in total enlightenment is the same as what all others have attained. It is undifferentiated, regarded neither as a high state nor a low state. It is wholly independent of any definite or arbitrary conceptions of an individual self, other selves, living beings, or a universal self. Subhuti, when someone is selflessly charitable, they should also practice being ethical by remembering there is no distinction between one's self and the selfhood of others. Thus one practices charity by giving not only gifts, but through kindness and sympathy. Practice kindness and charity without attachment, and you can become fully enlightened. Subhuti, what I just said about kindness does not mean that when someone is being charitable, they should hold on to arbitrary conceptions about kindness. For kindness is, after all, only a word, and charity needs to be spontaneous and selfless, done without regard for appearances. Chapter 24. The Buddha continued, "Subhuti, if a person collected treasures as high as 3,000 of the highest mountains and gave them all to others, their merit would be less than what would accrue to another person who simply observed and studied this sutra and, out of kindness, explained it to others. The latter person would accumulate hundreds of times the merit, hundreds of thousands of millions of times the merit. There is no conceivable comparison."